for the faith. Ministry of Works undertakes drainage works in Greenville, Lahokata ahead of the rainy season. And in sport, TT women go for third win in Windies T20 tournament. An investigation has been launched into the cause of a fire at the Port of Spain General Hospital on Friday night. The Northwest Regional Health Authority confirmed that a small fire broke out at the radiology department of the Port of Spain General Hospital at around 7 p.m. The NWRHA says the fire services responded and the fire was contained within the area. Approximately 30 patients from the wards nearby were swiftly decanted, and following assurances from the fire services that the area was safe, the patients were returned to the wards. No one was injured in the fire. There were no details on the extent of damage sustained or what caused the fire. Minister of Health Terence Dayal Singh said at this stage he can't determine how soon there will be normalcy at the Port of Spain General Hospital following a fire to the radiology department on Friday night, but he anticipates soon. He spoke to TTT News via telephone interview.
So the fire is yet, so therefore we can't make any statements as to the cause or the extent because we can't get into the building as yet. But we are making all efforts for normal services to resume in the shortest space of time.
However, he commended security and safety personnel for their swift efforts.
I'd like to first of all thank God that no one was injured, no lives were lost. I would also like to heap a lot of praise on the staff, the nursing staff at the hospital, ably supported by the security staff who moved patients out of danger. The nurses and the security staff and all staff really rose to the occasion, and I think the country owes them a debt of gratitude.
The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service will be conducting an investigation into a road traffic accident involving the convoy of the Commissioner of Police today. The TTPS says at about 2 p.m. on Saturday, the convoy of Commissioner Gary Griffith was traveling west in the Glencoe area. The convoy observed a B14 Nissan motorist driving erratic and overtaking on the shoulder, while at times driving on the right side of the lane. The front security escort vehicle then went in pursuit of that vehicle, but came into contact with another vehicle heading in an easterly direction. It was this vehicle which came into contact with the Commissioner of Police's vehicle, which was waiting in traffic. No one sustained any serious injury following the accident. A fire officer and a teenager have died in separate vehicular accidents overnight. Fire officer Kwame Roberts was killed in Kuva early Saturday when he was thrown from his vehicle and died on the spot. According to police reports, shortly before daybreak, Roberts' Nissan Primera was found several meters off Bukaro Road. Roberts had been on extended sick leave, but was previously attached to the Kuva Shigonas and Point Fortin fire stations. In a separate incident, Malik Alexander, 19, was driving a silver Mitsubishi Lancer east along the Churchill Roosevelt Highway, Maloney, around 5 a.m. when he veered off the lane, crossed the median and slammed into a Ford Ranger on the westbound lane. The driver of the Ford Ranger escaped with minor injuries, police said. Alexander was thrown from his car and died at the scene. Members of the Baptist community danced, played drums, chanted, prayed, and mingled with family and friends as they celebrated Spiritual Shelter Baptist Liberation Day at the Eddie Hart grounds in Tagarigua. And adding to the excitement was the Minister of Arts and Culture, who shared some good news with them. Shirley Lewis has more.
They sang and danced as they celebrated the liberation of Spiritual Shelter Baptist, who many years ago were not allowed to perform their acts of worship openly, but rather in secret. This worshipper said this day means a lot to him.
Since that my ancestors would have cleared this pathway for us. You understand? So but they had a lot of running and ducking and hiding and so on, but we know how, we are free now, so we can demonstrate our faith and not feel uncomfortable in no way.
PNM Senator Foster Cummings belted out some hymns for the crowd. Minister of Arts and Culture, Dr. Nian Gatsby-Dolly, announced a prospective time frame for the Spiritual Baptist Cathedral.
The Baptists who were there in 1917, taking the pressure, hiding behind bush to make sure that we today can sit on the Spiritual Baptist faith as an integral part of Trinidad and Tobago. Suppose they had given up. Suppose they had never heard anywhere. Suppose they had let the faith die. We would be here today. And we would be looking forward in the very near future to a cathedral where the Spiritual Baptists can feel proud of their ancestry and their heritage.
On 30th March 1951, there was a repeal of the 1917 Shelter Prohibition Ordinance that prohibited the activities of the Shelter or Spiritual Baptist faith, particularly the loud sounds of their singing and clapping as a perceived threat to colonial law and order. Sherilyn Lewis, TTT News.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley says it is his hope that as we commemorate the resilience of the Spiritual Shelter Baptist, may we be inspired to draw strength from their triumph over difficulty. In his message on the occasion of Spiritual Shelter Baptist Liberation Day, the Prime Minister said in our personal lives we may face challenges that seem insurmountable. He said if we choose to live by the example of the Spiritual Shelter Baptist, emulating their courage and tenacity, we know that we too can overcome. Opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessa said the indomitable spirit of the Baptist community is noteworthy. Their capacity to persist and prosper in times of significant adversity is an example for Trinidad and Tobago as a whole. She said today, as we face trying times and challenges in our nation, we can look to Spiritual Shelter Baptists for inspiration and, as they did, seek to keep hope and faith alive. President of Trinidad and Tobago, Paula May Weeks, says the tenacity and resolve of the Spiritual Shelter Baptists in their struggle for freedom and recognition hold valuable lessons for the rest of the national community. In her message, President Weeks said through sustained but peaceful agitation, determination and persistence, Spiritual Shelter Baptists carved for themselves an equal place in the religious and cultural landscape of Trinidad and Tobago. She said the Spiritual Baptists never yielded nor altered their beliefs to reflect the demands of the wider society, but for to maintain their traditions and heritage. President Weeks said their refusal to bow to ideals of colonial propriety and respectability was an early lesson in cultural pride and demonstrated the value of celebrating rather than shunning our links to the past. More to come, stay with us.
Easter Sunday, get lost in the world of award-winning films. Green Days by the River, April 21st at 3 p.m. Be viewing TTT to experience the breathtaking film adaptation of Michael Anthony's beloved novel. Voted People's Choice for Best Narrative Feature at the Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival. Recipient of the Carmichael Award for Exceptional Storytelling at the Barbados Independent Film Festival. Green Days by the River proves that locally produced films will captivate you and transport you to other worlds. A tale of love, loss, and intrigue. Green Days by the River premieres April 21st only on TTT.
Welcome back to Sport Now. This country's women's cricketers will go for a third win on the trot in the West Indies Women T20 Blaze tournament in Guyana when they face Barbados on Sunday. On Friday, the women's cricket team made it 2 in 2 days as they scored another victory in Cup tournament over in Guyana. In a rain-affected game played at the National Stadium in Providence, the Windward Islands won the toss and opted to bat first, but were restricted to just 59 for 3 in their allotted 9.4 overs. Juliana Nero top-scored with 19, while Stacey Ann Adams added 14 in support. Felicia Walters was TT's most successful bowler with 2 for 15, while Anissa Mohammed had 1 for 9 in support. When TT batted, they chased a revised target of 58 to win, reaching 61 for 3 in just 7.5 overs to win by 7 wickets under the Duckworth-Lewis method. Stacey Ann King top scored with 25, while Brittany Cooper was 23 not out when victory was achieved. To horse racing, where Karen Kilowan guided Michael's Runway to victory last evening at the Santa Rosa Racecourse. Featuring native-bred 3-year-old and over maidens, the race covered a distance of 1,600 meters on the turf and a purse of $36,550.
They turn again. Unruly Queen, still the leader by 3 lengths. Michael's Runway is into second. Strikeaway is in third. Adigirl Sylvie now races fourth. After Adigirl Sylvie is Vasara under the pump. Then comes No More Regrets. Marconi's dropping off the pace. Forget about Sweet Word and Ready to Show. Into the home stretch they go, and it's Unruly Queen in front. But you better recognize the threat of Michael's Runway, who's finishing. Then comes Strike Away. Adigirl Sylvie's being asked the question by Tiger, but Unruly Queen is holding on to that lead. Strike Away is coming on. In between runners there is Michael's Runway, Adigirl Sylvie, and No More Regrets. But Unruly Queen is holding on. Here comes Michael's Runway with one last gasp to win it. Michael's Runway at the finish nails it, tied for second between Strikeaway, Adigirl Sylvie. Unruly Queen was on the inside, and No More Regrets on the outside.
The military-led academic training academy Milat is hosting a 2-day rugby tournament at the Major League Ballpark Center of Excellence, Macoya, featuring teams from within the academy and a visiting female Curaçao team. The 2-day event consists of a 10-man tournament on the first day and rugby sevens on the second. Ken Fuentes has more.
The opening match on Friday featured a current bunch of Milat students and the recent graduates, with the graduates showing they are forced to be reckoned with. Petty Officer Dwight Mills, Milat Sports Development Officer, says the sport plays a big part in the lives of the recruits.
The rugby program itself, or the sport of rugby in the academy, it helps the boys and they to be able to get off whatever bit of aggression they may be having bundled up inside, and it allows them to be focused as well as, you know, be able to apply the things that they've learned throughout the sport into their lives at this time.
And how did the tournament come about?
We want to be able to spread the sport throughout the country, so we basically said that we will host the event here. It is the first time that we're hosting this event, and we thought that we'll do it like this up here in the east, and it's also actually a fundraising event. We have 3 other sporting disciplines that we're dealing with: long distance running, football, volleyball, and we want to be able to raise funds to offset expenses for kit and all these good stuff.
He hopes the players' involvement in rugby does not stop at the level they are at right now, and that they go on to reach their fullest potential in the sport.
We do. Well, we also have the assistance from the TTRFU. They are here rendering their assistance, and of course, we hope that the youngsters and they are, they're seen at different clubs and they're recruited, because the Milat program is a 2-year program, so the boys aren't going to be with us all the time. So we hope that when they go off, they move forward into playing the sport and reaching the level of nationals.
Kent Fuentes, TTT Sports.
Ferrari's Charles Leclerc beat teammate Sebastian Vettel to take his maiden pole position at the Bahrain Grand Prix. Leclerc, 21, beat the 4-time world champion by 0.294 seconds, as Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas took 3rd and 4th for Mercedes. Leclerc was fastest in all 3 parts of qualifying, a powerful statement of intent. Hamilton was 0.324 seconds behind, pipping Bottas by just 0.66 seconds. Leclerc said, quote, "I am truly happy in the last race. I was not satisfied with my qualifying and I worked really hard to do better." The pilot of the plane which crashed into the English Channel with Emiliano Sala on board was not qualified to fly at night, BBC Wales understands. David Ibbotson is thought to have been colorblind, and his license restricted him to flying in daytime hours only. Footballer Salah died when the plane carrying him from Nantes to Cardiff crashed late on January 21st. The UK Civil Aviation Authority said it could not comment. The Air Accidents Investigations Branch said licensing continues to be a focus of its investigations. Regulatory authorities have confirmed that Mr. Ibbotson did not hold a night rating on his UK private pilot's license. The public record of his Federal Aviation Administration license states that he must have available glasses for near vision and that all limitations and restrictions on United Kingdom pilot license apply. And that's it for sport. More to come. Stay with us.
This Sunday on TTT, 4:30 p.m. Insights in the New Wine Vineyard.
He told them no guts, no glory.
Unforgettable in everywhere. The King be lifted up.
You know, sometimes they say better late than never. So I appreciate that.
Don't miss Insights in the New Wine Vineyard on TTT this Sunday, 4:30 p.m. A production of the Anglican Church in the Diocese of Trinidad and Tobago.
Reach further when you advertise with TTT. Suite 100, Next 99.1, and Talk City 91.1 FM. Whether it's television, radio, or social media, our stations belong to the only broadcast network with 100% coverage across Trinidad and Tobago. That's a fact. From Port of Spain to Point Fortin, Crown Point to Charlottesville, every household in TNT can easily access our signal. TTT remains the only broadcaster with live capability from multiple locations in the country, making us the most dependable source of information for events of national importance. Find us on any smart device at TTT Live Online. Are you ready to reach further with your advertising? Contact our sales team now. Call us at 622-4141 at extensions 2601 to 2607 or email us at sales@ttt.co.tt.
Tonight, 1 or 2 early evening showers will give way to mostly clear and cool conditions by midnight tomorrow. Sunny and breezy conditions will gradually give way to a few cloudy spells with occasional showers by mid-afternoon. Seas are moderate with waves 2 meters in open waters and below 1 meter in sheltered areas. Drainage works continue in Greenville Park, Lahokata by the Ministry of Works and Transport to alleviate the problem of flooding ahead of this year's rainy season. Minister of Works and Transport Rohan Sinanan said he is hopeful the new works will stand against the rainfall and not affect the residents in the community. Marie Hull reports.
These weather conditions in October 2018 caused this riverbank to overflow and affect the lives of 200 households in the Greenville area. During the tour of the area on Saturday, Minister of Works and Transport Rohan Sinanan said the aim is to ensure the capacity of the Caroni River can hold twice its volume of water.
This will help to minimize the flooding, should in case we get the sort of volumes that we got last year. As I keep repeating last year, the flooding that we have has to do with the capacity of the channels and the volume of rainfall. What we're trying to do is to expand the capacity as far as possible wherever we can do it. And in this area here, we had extra land on either side. So what they would have done is they would have dredged the river as far as they can go and also to raise the embankment.
He said the project, which will span 3 kilometers, will not work if contractors continue to compound the issue. Minister Sinanan intends to meet with the Minister of Planning and Development on Monday to address the matter of approvals in areas prone to flooding.
But what we see happening is that in some strange way, they are getting these approvals without conditions, and that is causing a problem for us now because we are doing all this work. And then when you go downstream, you see somebody filling up an area that technically, makes our job here null and void.
The Ministry of Works and Transport is also conducting works on the Aripo and Guanapo rivers ahead of the rainy season. Marie Hall, TTT.
And Transport Rohan Sinanan is hoping more consultations are done before housing developments are approved. At a tour of Greenville Park, Minister Sinanan said that some political decisions have been made over the years to provide housing for citizens without proper approvals. He said discussions continue to be held with the HDC to ensure developments are within town and country standards.
areas that we may want houses, all political parties. But is it the right thing to put houses in those areas? Because look what happened last year. This could have been a major catastrophe in Trinidad and Tobago. So we have spoken to the HDC about where they put in projects.
The Trinidad and Tobago Endometriosis Association held their first awareness walk and second women's fair at the Queen's Park Savannah today. The event, aimed at debunking some of the myths surrounding the condition, had over 300 registered patrons. Founder and president of the association, Abisha Toussaint, told TTT News what endometriosis was all about.
Okay, endometriosis is a condition where the tissue similar to the lining of the uterus grows in other parts of the body. It can grow almost anywhere. And because that tissue should not be growing there, you find that the patient suffers from a lot of pain caused by inflammation, adhesion. And so you find many of our women and girls are unable to go to work and school.
Internationally, 176 million people are affected by endometriosis worldwide. Ms. Toussaint shared some of the symptoms associated with the condition.
Common symptoms are painful periods and chronic pelvic pain. You also have symptoms painful urination if it's on your bladder, painful bowel movement.
More to come. Stay with us.
There's no time like now and no show like ours. Start your day with a smile and view TTT every morning at 6 a.m. as Lisa, Rishi, and Carrie keep you in the know with what's trending on social media, the island vibe, and bring you the latest from the worlds of sport, technology, current affairs, and much more. Who says informative can be fun? Now, shaping tomorrow today, weekdays at 6 a.m. on TTT, Talk City 91.1 FM, and streaming live on Facebook at TTT Live Online.
At TTT News, our journalists are on the ground seeking the facts and reporting on people, events, and the issues that affect your life. Our job is to deliver the most up-to-date news reports. We have Trinidad and Tobago covered. TTT News reaches further on any smart device. TTT News. Connect.
The TTPS are on an intense surveillance patrol across Trinidad and Tobago, and a number of people are being caught by surprise.
It shows here that your insurance is in order, and it also shows here that your driver's permit is in order. But a very interesting observation also is that today happens to be your birthday. Is that correct, sir? Sir, for doing the right thing, and for today being your birthday, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service wants to give you and the family tickets to Movie Town to look at a movie today, sir. Yes. Right, so on behalf of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, this is our gift to you on your birthday and to your family. You have a happy birthday and continue doing the right thing, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Welcome back. The Red Cross says it can begin distributing crucial aid supplies to crisis-hit Venezuela in 2 weeks. The group said it could initially help 650,000 suffering a lack of food and medicine. Much of the country has been hit by another blackout ahead of a march over the continuing electricity crisis. The government has claimed the blackouts are the result of sabotage in an effort to force President Nicolas Maduro from office. The power cuts have hit hospitals, public transport, water and other services, worsening a national economic crisis. After Mr. Maduro's government allowed the Red Cross to help, opposition leader Juan Guaido responded by saying it had recognized its failure by accepting the existence of a complex humanitarian emergency. In February, Mr. Maduro used the army to block an effort led by Mr. Guaido to bring in U.S.-backed aid convoys. The man accused of killing 50 people in attacks on 2 New Zealand mosques has lodged a formal complaint over his prison treatment. Australian Brenton Tarrant, 28, has so far been charged with 1 murder and is expected to face further charges. According to reports, Tarrant complained that he was being denied access to visitors and phone calls. He is being kept in isolation at the Auckland prison, considered New Zealand's toughest. New Zealand is still coming to terms with the mass killings. More than 20,000 people attended a memorial service in Christchurch's Hagley Park on Friday. Here's a recap of tonight's main stories. Investigations continue into a fire at the radiology department of the Port of Spain General Hospital. Spiritual Shouter Baptists celebrate as they embrace the news of a long-awaited cathedral for the faith. Ministry of Works undertakes drainage works in Greenville, Hocketa, ahead of the rainy season. And in sport, TT women go for third win in Windy's T20 tournament. That's how we end our TTT News Report. On behalf of all of us here, have a good night.